I read another indie book, and that is Miss Landon and Aubrey Nail by Charlotte E. English. I have never read anything by Charlotte E. English, but I do know they are a very popular author in the indie world, so I was very excited to delve into this historical fantasy. We have the character of Miss Sophie Landon, who is considered a spinster because we are in the Regency period. She's like 28. You know, she's 27 years old. She has no money and no prospects, is already a burden to her parents. Hey. But she only has her father, who is the parson of the town, and he is unwell. He is... One thing I didn't like was that portrayal of he is a gluttonous and fat, and that's what unalives him eventually. And I don't necessarily like painting the fat person as the villain. I don't know if that was not even the villain, but as a negative character, because he wasn't even in the book very much anyway. But I still I get icky whenever I see something like that. But Miss Landon is friends with... This is also a world that is naturally magical as well. Like, the people of London in non-magical London know of the Fae. They have household brownies. So she has a brownie who is great. That's Mr. Thundingle. He's great. And then there is a Trollbridge who named Ballingump. And Ballingump kind of narrates the whole story. And I will say, one thing I don't like in books is when they write out the accent, which I get why people do. For me, it kind of messes with my brain a little bit, because I can give characters accents without needing it to say with all the apostrophes. I find it very distracting. It might just be my own brain thing. But Mr. Ballingump does have that happen every time that he talks. And I find it very distracting. But that's personal thing for me. But honestly, I love the friendship between Ballingump and Sophie, because Ballingump kind of takes a special interest in making sure that Miss Sophie's okay. Sophie also... forgot to mention one of the biggest aspects of her whole personality is a seamstress, although we can't talk about being a seamstress. It's not ladylike. But she sews. She loves making clothes. She fixes clothes and things. And I love this aspect of the character, because I am a crafty girl and I'm a sewing girl. And I'm just like, yeah, I do wish I had this as an audiobook, because then I could have crafted while listening to it. But I only had a physical copy of it because... you know, it's me. And I like to listen to audiobooks while I craft. Okay. Anyway, that's a side note. But she does, right? And, you know, she's not feeling great of herself. So Ballinghuff gives her a little treat and lets her into Elfenheim, which is our Fae world, one of the Fae worlds. And she has a wonderful time in Elfenheim. And she runs across Aubrey, who is a horrendously scarred Fae. Illyri, I think, is the type of Fae that he is. And also this big cat character named I forgot it. Felibe? Fel for short. Purple cat. Is it a purple cat, or am I just projecting that it's a purple cat? I could just be projecting that it's a purple cat, but it is a cat. Big cat, and they run into each other, and it's kind of rocky settings, and then they spend the day together, essentially, and have a great time. It's good fun. And that is really the most they interact knowingly with each other, which is one of my problems with the book overall. So Albernale kind of not falls head over heels in love with Sophie, but he definitely likes her a lot and makes a deal with some other Fae to have beauty so he can go into the regular human world and court her as Mr. Stanton. So we have a bit of a Cinderella fake identity situation. He goes with one of his friends, or not really a friend, but somebody of great importance who is a friend essentially to him, and has the persona of Mr. Stanton. But Sophie is plain, right? She knows herself to be very plain. Obviously, she's a spinster at her age. Nobody has wanted her. So she has a very negative outlook on herself and is very resigned into it. And there's no possible way that Mr. Stanton likes her, even though he singles her out and dances with her all the time and always seeks her out. No way does he like me in any special way. And that I felt was a little bit annoying because of how many times Mr. Stanton character did seek her out and did ask to court her and you know, not court her, but visit her and, oh, we should meet up on a walk kind of thing, even though it's improper. But, oh, if you happen to befall me at this court bench at this time, you know. it was clearly interested, and her constant denial of it was a little exhausting at times, because there is a point where you're just like, come on, you know better, you know how this works. But Dad passes away, and now Sophie doesn't know what to do with herself. She doesn't get the house, she doesn't have a profession, she doesn't have anything, she doesn't have any suitors and stuff, and she doesn't want to like accept a marriage proposal from Mr. Stanton just because she needs to. So she makes a deal with Ballincup to go to Alfenheim to make her way. And through this, meets a character that I really want to know how you pronounce the name, because I keep saying Hidenori, but I think it's wrong because that's how I read it in Japanese, but I know it's probably like Hidenori or something, or Hidenori, because at some point they're called Heidi. So I don't know how it's actually pronounced, but and then we have this kind of almost Little Mermaid Ursula stealing the image of Sophie to trick Mr. Stanton into things. And honestly, they have more romance than Sophie and Auburnale do, which is my whole big takeaway from this book, is that Sophie and Auburnale don't actually get to spend a lot of time with each other. And for a romance, I wanted them to. By the end of the book, they're not even really together by the end, because in the epilogue is where I don't even think the epilogue was necessary, really. I think that should have just been another chapter, because it didn't feel like an epilogue. It felt like it was another chapter just continuing the story. We had a lot of things happen at the end of the book that kind of felt like they came out of nowhere, with this lost princess situation, this magical tea party that's never ending. If you sit down, you're stuck in it forever. And it just ended up adding a lot more threads to the plot that had to be wrapped up very, very quickly. And I feel like 100 more pages could have helped me enjoy this book a lot more. Overall, it's still fun. It's still very cozy and very, light on everything. And I did love there's illustrations in the book itself that are very, very cute, and I adored them. But I was left wanting a lot from this book. So that's how I feel about it. I don't know if I should continue the series. I haven't decided if I'm going to go on to the next book, because the next book appears to be a companion with one of the other characters, Miss Ellerby and somebody. But it's another situation. Her friend, Miss Ellerby, is one of them. So I'm assuming it's a companion novel, and we'll just see about it. And I just really wanted more romance between them. I wanted to believe that they should end up together. But with Sophie spending more time with Ballincup and Stanton or Auburnale spending more time with Hidenori, I'm like, I definitely see them being more into each other than anything. So anyway, that's my hot take on Miss Landon and Auburnale. Check it out if it sounds like something you would enjoy.